Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to second part of Real Estate App Development series. In this part, we will create login option screen having options to log in with phone, Google and email password. We will also connect our app to Firebase and implement Google login option. So let's start by creating a new project on Firebase console. Click add project. Type the name of project, for example, real estate Kotlin. Click continue. Enable Google Analytics if you want. Click continue. Select an account and click create project. This process might take some time. Click continue. Our project is now created on Firebase console. Now we need to set up Firebase authentication. Click build authentication. First of all, click get started. After that, we need to enable sign-in methods, which are email password. Click enable and click save. And now to add Google sign-in method, click add new provider, choose Google, click enable, choose port email and click save. Now we need to add phone login method. For that, click add new provider, choose phone, click enable and click save. Phone and Google login method requires SHA1, which we will add later. Now click Realtime Database to set up database. All data of users and properties will be saved in Realtime Database. Click Create Database. Choose server location and click Next. For now, we will choose logged mode roles and click Enable. Click Roles tab. Some features of our app does not require login, so we will allow anyone in our app to read database, for example, reading properties. But only authenticated users will be allowed to write database. To achieve that, we need to set roles auth not equal to null for writing the database. Okay, now click publish to publish the roles. Now we need to set up Firebase storage. For that, click storage. Click get started. Choose start in production mode option and click next. Choose Firebase storage location and click done. We need to set up Firebase storage roles in a way that every user in app, everyone using our app will be able to read Firebase storage and only authenticated users will be able to write the Firebase storage. For example, uploading the images related to property while adding a property add. For that we will do if request.auth not equal to null. So only authenticated users will be able to write the storage. After that, click finish to publish the rules. Now we need to connect our app to Firebase project. Click project setting, scroll down to bottom and click Android icon. We need to copy Android package name from build.gradle file, which is app level. Copy package name from here and paste it in Firebase console. Type the name of project or app, that is real estate Kotlin. We also need to add SHA1, otherwise Google and phone login will not work. You may check these steps to generate SHA1 from this link, which is available in video description. Copy command. If you are working in Windows, then copy this command. Since I am working in macOS, so I will copy command for macOS. Copy this command in terminal of Android Studio. If you are working in Windows, then it is maybe called command prompt. Paste that command here and click enter. It will take some time to generate SHA1 and SHA256. We only need SHA1 of debug type. Now copy SHA1 of variant debug and paste it in Firebase console and click register app. I have another app with same package name that is connected to a Firebase project. That's why this error is showing. So no need to worry about it. You will not face this issue. Open project setting, scroll down to bottom. We need to download Google Services.json file. Download and place it in desktop so that we can easily copy and paste it in our Android Studio project. And now copy Google Services.json file, open Android Studio, minimize the terminal, switch from Android to project directory, browse app folder and paste that file in app folder. Make sure to paste Google Services.json file in app folder. Close Google Services.json file and switch from project to Android mode. Switch from project to Android mode. Open build.gradle file, app level and project level. From main menu, click Tools, click Firebase. This will open Firebase Assistant. Click Analytics. Get started with Google Analytics. Add the Analytics SDK to your app and accept changes. So, analytics related to our app will be shown in Firebase Console's Analytics section. Now click Authenticate using a custom authentication system. Click Add the Firebase Authentication SDK to your app and click Accept Changes to enable login and register. Now click Real-Time Database. Click Add the Real-Time Database SDK to your app and click Accept Changes to read and write data to Firebase database. Click Cloud Storage for Firebase. Get started with cloud storage. Add the cloud storage SDK to your app and accept changes to store and read files on Firebase storage. To use login and register process in our app, we have added Firebase Authentication library, but to enable Google login, we also need to add another library which you can get from the link which is available in video description. So copy Google sign-in library from here and paste it in build.gradle file of app level. If there is any update available to this library or any library, make sure to update it to latest version. Also update JDK version to latest version. For now it is 17. Also update JVM target version to latest version. For now this is 17 and click sync now. So far, we have set up our project with Firebase. Let's create login options activity. Right click on package, click new activity, empty views activity. Type the name of activity, that is login options activity. Login options activity. Make sure to choose language Kotlin and click finish. Open main activity class. private Latinate var Firebase auth, which is of type Firebase auth. We will initialize it in onCreate function. Import library of Firebase auth. Let's initialize it in onCreate function. Firebase auth equal to Firebase auth dot get instance. Let's add a condition to check if user is not logged in. So move the user to login options activity. For that we will do if Firebase auth dot current user double equal to null, which will mean user is not logged into our app. To start login options activity, we will create a function private function start login options activity. We have set this to private since we don't need to access that function outside of this class. Start activity intent. It will require two parameters. First parameter is context and second parameter is the activity we want to start. Login options activity class.java. Now we need to call this function in condition which checks if user is not logged in. So we will move that user to login options activity. Now we will design login options activity. Open activity login options.xml file. Replace constraint layout with relative layout. We need to add a view with width and height match pattern to show background image. Let's copy the background image, copy it and paste it in drawable folder. These assets are available in a folder whose link is available in video description. Name the image back02 and click OK. Now we will set background to this view using background property back02. To make this image a little bit dim, we will add a foreground layer with using black transparent color which is available in colors.xml file. Open colors.xml file to check if you have added this color or not. Since user can access many features of this app without login, so we are going to add skip now button. So user can skip login option, material button with width and height tab content. Give this button a unique ID, for example skip button, and text will be skip now. Skip now. Let's move this button to end of the screen using layout align parent and equal to true. Now we need to give a little margin, for example 10 dp. Text color of this button will be white, either dark mode is on or off. Now we need to give text size to this button which is 10 sp. We also need to set transparent background to this button. Use background tint with app instead of Android. Black transparent. Let's apply stroke to this button. Stroke width 1 dp and stroke color will be white. Stroke color white. Our skip now button is ready. Now we need to create a linear layout to show login options buttons in bottom of the screen. Give width match parent and height wrap content. Let's move this linear layout to bottom of the screen and orientation will be vertical. And apply padding 10 dp. Now we need to create first login option button, that is login with phone. Material button. Give width match parent and height wrap content. and assign a unique ID, that is login phone button, and text will be continue with phone, continue with phone number. We will apply minimum height that is available in diamonds.xml file with name and button height. Now we need to apply icon in start of this button. We need to add a related icon in drawable folder. Right click drawable folder, new, vector asset, click clip art and browse for phone icon. I don't know why this version of Android Studio is missing a lot of icons, but no worries. I have placed these icons in my desktop. So let's copy icons for phone, email and Google, and let's paste these icons in drawable folder. You can download these icons from the link available in description of video. Paste these icons in drawable folder and click OK. Now we can set phone icon to this button. The next step is to show a label or continue with. For that we will create a relative layout with width, match parent and height, wrap content. Inside that we will create two divider in start and in end, and in between we will show a label or continue with. Give padding 20 dp to relative layout. Now we will create text view with width, wrap content and height wrap content. Assign a ID, con continue with label TV, and assign text to this text view or continue with. Text color will remain white, either dark mode is on or off. So assign white text color, and we need to make this text view in center of this relative layout. We need to give from margin from start 20 dp and also margin from end 20 dp. Let's create a material divider with width match parent and height wrap content, and make this material divider in center vertical of this relative layout. Now move this material divider in start of or continue with label using property layout to start off. Create another material divider with width match parent and height wrap content, and move this material divider to end of that label, and we need to place this material divider in center vertical of this relative layout. After closing relative layout, we will create another linear layout with width match parent and height wrap content. Assign a unique ID, more, options, linear layout. Orientation will be horizontal. In that linear layout, we will place two buttons which are continue with email and continue with Google. Let's create first button, material button with width, match parent and height wrap content. Assign a unique ID, for example, login email button, and assign text, that is email. Now give it a minimum height using min height property equal to m button height, which is available in diamond folder. Now icon will be email icon that we have placed in tribal folder. Also give a margin from end 5 dp. Let's create another material button to log in with Google with width match parent and height wrap content. Assign a unique ID, that is login Google button. Text will be Google, and Now assign icon with name Google Wide that we have pasted in driver folder. Give minimum height as we have defined in diamonds.xml file with name and button height. Now we need to give some margin from start, for example 5 dp. Now we need to give height 1 to both buttons so both buttons occupy equal space. Our UI part is now completed. To make it more easy to understand for you, I have also placed comments in all code. Now let's login options activity. First of all, we will bind our related XML file with this activity class private let init var binding, which is of type activity login options. Activity login options binding, and we will initialize it in onCreate function before set content view. Binding equal to activity login options binding dot inflate layout inflator, and instead of r.layout dot we will do binding dot root. Let's create a tag to show logs in logcat. Private val tag equal to login options tag. Login options tag. Let's create a progress dialog which will be shown while saving user info in Firebase database after Google login. Private let init var progress dialog, which is of type progress dialog, and initialize it in onCreate function. Progress dialog equal to progress dialog, and pass this for parameter context. Progress dialog dot set title, please wait. And if we want to disable dismissing dialog when user click outside of progress dialog, we will set boolean value false. To handle user authentication related tasks, we will create instance of Firebase Auth private let init var Firebase Auth and initialize it in onCreate function. Firebase Auth equal to Firebase Auth dot get instance. Let's add on click listener or skip button binding dot skip button dot set on click listener, and we will call finish function. So when user clicks skip button, login options screen will be closed. Now let's start coding Google sign-in. Private let init var m Google sign-in client, which is of type Google sign-in client. We will initialize it in onCreate function. But before initializing Google sign-in client, we need to pass a parameter of type Google sign-in options. So let's initialize and set up it first. Google sign-in options dot builder. This requires parameter Google sign-in options dot default sign-in dot request ID token and pass parameter using get string r dot string dot default web client ID dot request email dot build. If default web client ID is displaying in red, don't worry, it will still work. Now we can initialize Google sign-in client. M Google sign-in client equal to Google sign-in dot get client. This requires two parameters. First parameter is context, which is this, and second parameter is instance of Google sign-in options. Now we will add click listener on Google login button binding dot login Google button dot set on click listener, and we will create a function private function begin Google login. We have set it to private since we don't need to access that function outside of this class. Let's call this function in click listener of login Google button. We are adding a log using log.d First parameter is the name of tag and second parameter is the message we want to show in logcat. That is optional. Now we need to create instance of intent to launch Google Sign-in dialog. Val Google Sign-in intent equal to intent m Google Sign-in client dot sign-in intent. We need to create activity result launcher to handle success or failure result of Google Sign-in dialog. Private var Google Sign-in activity result launcher equal to register for activity results. This function requires a parameter to handle result. So activity result contracts dot start activity for result. Now we need to add body to this function to handle result. We will rename as result, which is of type activity result. Now we will launch intent for Google Sign-in. Google Sign-in ARR.launch and pass Google Sign-in intent as parameter. Now we will add a condition to check if Google Sign-in was cancelled or not. If result dot result code double equal to activity dot result OK, which means Google Sign-in was not cancelled by user or due to some error. Now we need to get data from result as intent val data equal to result dot data. Now we need to get a signed in account using this data val task equal to Google sign in dot get signed in account from intent and pass data as parameter. The process to get account from task may cause exception, so we will enclose it in try catch, and in catch block we will show log using log e, which requires three parameters. First parameter is tag, second parameter is the message, and third parameter is the actual exception we want to show in logcat. Val account equal to task dot result. Task dot get result. Now we need to pass a parameter, that is API exception class. This process may cause exceptions, so we have enclosed it in try catch. Now we will print account ID in logcat using log.d. Account ID dollar account dot ID. This step is optional, so you may skip it. So far, we have logged in with Google. Now we need to implement sign in with Firebase Auth using the credentials we got from Google Sign In. For that, we will create a separate function, private function Firebase Auth with Google account, and we will pass a parameter to that function that is of type string, and the value will be ID token that we will get from account that we have got in try catch. Now we will call this function in try catch. We will get ID token from account and pass as parameter in Firebase Auth with Google account function. The ID token we got from account is of type string, but it is nullable. So we will change the parameter of our function to nullable. As you know, we use question mark to denote this variable or parameter or class is nullable. Now we need to add an else block to handle if Google sign-in was cancelled by a user or due to an error. We will print message on logcat using logd and also show message to user using toast. So instead of showing toast here, we will create a separate class and create toast in that class. Right click on package, click new, click Kotlin class file, type the name of class, that is my utils, and click enter. Make sure to choose object instead of class. We have chosen type object instead of class, so we can directly call the functions in this object without creating its instance. Now we have created a function named toast with specifier public. This function will require two parameters. First parameter is of type context that is required in toast, and second parameter is a message that we want to show in toast. Toast requires three parameters. First parameter is of type context. Second parameter is the message we want to show, and third parameter is the length of toast, short or long. Now, whenever we need to show a toast in our project, we will call this function. Open LoginOptionsActivity class and come in else doc. MyUtils.toast. First parameter is context, which is this, and second parameter is the message. In our case, it is cancelled. Firebase also provides a feature to sign in using credential. So we can get it from Google Auth provider. So value credential equal to Google Auth provider dot get credential, and this function will require two parameters. First parameter is the ID token that we have got above, and second parameter we don't need it, so just pass null. Now we can sign in with Firebase Auth. Firebase Auth dot sign in with credential and pass credential as parameter. Now we need to add success listener on it using dot add on success listener. This function will be called if signing is successful. I will add manual name for auth result to get user info. You may also use default, which is with name it. If we need to check if the logged in user is new or an existing one. For that we can do auth result dot additional user info dot is user info. So we can check if the user that is logged in using Google is new or an existing user. If the user is new, so we need to save user info to Firebase Realtime database. If the user is an existing user, we will just move to dashboard. Use logd to print message on logcat that account is created. We will create a separate function to save user info on Firebase. The function will be of type private, so since we don't need to access it outside of this class, the name of function will be update user info db. Now we need to call this function in if block update user info db. We also need to add an else block which will handle the result the user is an existing user. So we will just move to dashboard screen. Start activity intent. The first parameter is the context and second parameter is the activity we want to store. Make sure to call finish affinity function to clear activity backstack. So in main activity when user press back button, it will not come back to login options or any previous activity. And handle error listener using .add on failure listener, and I am going to use manual name for exception, for example E. We will show exception in logcat using log.e, and also show message to the user using toast. MyUtils.toast. First parameter is context and second parameter is the message we want to show. We will get message from exception dollar dot dollar e dot message. It will show the reason of exception. Also place a log in start of this function to print ID token in logcat. It will help you debugging the app while running app. And now our next and last step is to save data to user. Save data of user in Firebase real-time database. Before doing that, we will show progress dialog, set message to progress dialog, saving user info, and now show progress dialog using progress dialog dot show. Let's create a value named timestamp to hold timestamp value timestamp equal to okay. Instead of getting timestamp here, we will create a function in myUtils class. Function timestamp. In the body of function, we will return timestamp. Return system dot current time millis. When we do system dot current time millis, uh, it gets the current timestamp of the system. We also need to set return type of this function, which is long. So whenever in our project we need timestamp, we will just call this function myutils dot timestamp, and we will get current timestamp of system. Now we also need UID of currently logged in user. So value registered user UID equal to Firebase auth dot UID. Similarly, we will get email value registered user email equals to Firebase auth dot current user dot email. Get email is nullable, but we know the user is logged in with Google, so definitely email will not be null. So we have used not null symbol. Now we can get name from current user, value name equal to Firebase auth dot current user dot name, which is also nullable, but we will use not null symbol. Before saving data in Firebase database, we will use hashmap to set up data in form of key and value. Value hashmap equal to hashmap. The key will always be of type string and value can be of any type. So we will use any. Now we will put data in hashmap. Hashmap UID equal to registered user UID, which is of type string. This error is showing because the value registered user UID is nullable, but in here we need non-null value. So we will enclose this value in string format. Also do same for email and for name. Do the same for name. Enclose these values in string using concatenation. Now we can safely pass these values. Email equal to registered user email. Similarly, we will pass name, name equal to name. We also need to put timestamp here. One use of timestamp can be we can show in profile section when user has created his account in form of day, month, and year. Make sure to choose same key names as I have used, and also the data type should also be same. We also need to put a blank phone number here. We will divide phone number into parts. First part is phone code, for example, +92 in case of Pakistan. And phone number will contain the phone number. We also need to put profile image URL, which will remain blank. Also DOB, date of birth, which will also remain blank. We also need to put user type, which can be Google. If user is logged in using Google, the user type will be Google. So we will define constants in myUtils. Constant value user type Google equal to Google. So whenever user is logged in using Google, his account type will be Google. So we can differentiate the type of user, which method he has used to create an account. So there will be three types of users. One type of user is logged in using Google, another is using email, and third one is using phone. To prevent the typos while saving and getting the user types, I have moved them to my utils class. So whenever we want to save user type and get user type, we will just get it from my utils class. The key token will contain FCM token that will be used to send and receive Firebase notification. Now it's time to save the data in Firebase database. Value reference equal to Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference and in path type users. In this path we will create a child using reference dot child and as a child we will use registered user UID in which all data of user will be saved. Now we will use dot set value and inside that we will pass hashmap as parameter. Now add dot add on success listener. This function will be called if user data is successfully saved in Firebase database. Use log.d to print message on logcat. The data is saved. User info saved. You also need to dismiss the progress dialog and move to the next screen using start activity intent. First parameter is context and second parameter is the activity we want to start. Also make sure to call finish affinity to clear back stack of activity so when user press back button will not come to login options activity. Now add dot add on failure listener. If this function will be called if there is an exception while saving data in Firebase database. We need to show exception in logcat using log.a. Also dismiss progress dialog and show the error message to the user using toast. MyUtils.toast. First parameter is the context. Second parameter is the message we want to show. To concatenate value in string we use $sign and we will get message from exception e.message. So it will show the reason of the error in toast. Our code is now completed. You may review and match code with mine to prevent issues. I have also placed comments to make it more easy to understand for you. Now it's time to run our app on real device or in an emulator. Connect your device and run this project on your emulator or on real device. Open Authentication, Real-Time Database, and Storage in new tabs. For now, Authentication, Real-Time Database, and Storage is empty. First of all, we need to test the Skip Now button. So when we press Skip Now button, it should dismiss the login options activity and it should allow us to browse our app without login. Run project again, click Google button. It will show all users logged into your device. So click any account. First of all, it will create account on Firebase and save the data in Firebase database. The data should be displayed in real-time database and email should be displayed in Firebase auth. We will continue from here in next part.